Hey, did you hear there might be a new iPhone SE coming in 2025? Yeah, no kidding. If the rumors are true, it could be big for certain people, first-time iPhone buyers, for instance. But you know what a lot of people never understood about the SE, aside from that it's more affordable? What the SE always does, its calling card, is blending older designs with current technology. And when you phrase it like that, it doesn't sound too bad, right? Because it's literally function over form. I've been thinking a lot about the SE lately because I've been covering Apple for so long. I've seen the ups and downs of all the different models that come out, and I can remember times when the SE has been more popular than others. And I think this year, if we're judging by the rumors correctly, this could be the first time that the SE actually matches the look of the current iPhone lineup, which would be a huge change for Apple. And I guess for the people that usually buy the SE, they obviously don't typically care about the looks of the phone. Like they just want something that's solid, that fits the budget really nicely. It's kind of funny to say this, but this would be the last iPhone model to have the home button disappear from it. The vibe I'm picking up right now is that people would be hyped for a cheaper iPhone with more cutting edge features. Like at the moment, if you want to get Apple Intelligence, the cheapest way to do that would be, do you know? It would be getting the iPad mini that just came out. So this would be significantly cheaper than getting the iPad mini and give you access to these Apple Intelligence features if that's something that you care about. I know a lot of people feel like Apple Intelligence is kind of like artificial intelligence SE at the moment, if you know what I mean. I think for the people in the market for the SE though, there's probably a concern this year of all years that it might be like less affordable than they would like. Even in the budget market, there's people who feel like Apple prices things higher than necessary or higher than they would like. Obviously people talk about Apple's storage costs, for instance, and on some of the top tier items, how you have to bundle in like a keyboard with your iPad Pro to really get the full experience. So like what people can feel like is the nickel and diming. Just because we're talking about the lower end of the segment doesn't mean that that sentiment changes, right? Some people still feel like even the SE could end up being overpriced. So what's common knowledge at this point is that this could be the SE that is cheaper, but not necessarily as older looking as has been the case in the past. Here's Digital Trends with a good point. They're saying, when Apple released the iPhone SE 2, it was a great option for those who didn't need all the bells and whistles of the flagship iPhone, but the iPhone SE 3 seemed a bit lackluster compared to the predecessor. After all, at launch, it used a 5-year-old design that didn't offer many upgrades besides adding 5G. Now, I don't think where Apple Intelligence is right now, or really artificial intelligence for whatever we're talking about, whoever we're talking about in terms of consumer grade artificial intelligence, is quite at this point yet. But there might come a time somewhere in the future, and this SE in the future, this line could prove this, where AI kind of is everything, where it subsumes apps. It takes over, the whole UI and the experience so that the hardware and the apps matter less. And we might get to a point where it's like, whatever you're requesting from your phone, the AI just builds that app experience temporarily on demand, and then it just poof disappears. And if that's the case, then it could be the case that the SE is all anyone ever really needs in the future, especially if things get more offloaded to the cloud. We don't have to go in that direction. I'm not saying that that's for sure the future, and that wouldn't affect things like your camera, right? You'd still want an iPhone Pro for the really great, processor and camera for other reasons. And of course, being able to get, the latest connectors or whatever, that'll be a big deal as well. If you've got AirPods with the new case that uses USB-C, and then you get the new iPhone, right? The SE, even the SE, you want one cable that will charge everything, don't you? Now, I mentioned 5G just a second ago. What's kind of weird is that this iPhone SE could be the first iPhone that uses Apple's own 5G modem instead of going with Qualcomm, because it turns out that Qualcomm component is one of the more expensive things in the iPhone. So if Apple's trying to make this more budget friendly, it would make sense for them to take out that expensive component and then add in something else that they can do for cheaper. So I don't know, is this something that you're interested in? Let's kind of like gauge the sentiment here amongst our own community. Does this appeal to you? Do you tend to go for like at least, the regular iPhone this year? A lot of people think of that as the budget. So where does that stand for you? Or do you just kind of trend towards the Pro stuff? Let me know.